Welcome. This is the Business Hour on VOP TV. Check your time. It's 10:05. Apologies, we had a technical glitch, and so we're starting a little bit behind schedule, but it's still going to be an amazing time on the Business Hour. Let's go straight into some of the top stories we've got lined up for you in the world of business. My name is Frank Fagba. Now let's go straight into some of the top stories. MultiChoice has rejected Canal's offer as regards the fact of $2.5 billion acquisition offer. MultiChoice rejected the $2.5 billion offer acquisition from Canal Plus. Canal Plus is a French company, and this time around, the South African media giant MultiChoice has refused the hefty $2.5 billion offer for the French pay TV powerhouse, Canal Plus. And the offer represents 40% premium based on what they said, but MultiChoice deemed it undervalued based on their own projection. MultiChoice is saying that $2.5 billion for 40% premium of our asset is undervalued, meaning that they are worth more than that. Let us look at what is really happening what we have, other stories lined up for you as well. Moving on from MultiChoice, Warri Refinery has neared completion. That is what is coming in from this story we have from the south part of Nigeria. The southern part of Nigeria, Warri Refinery nears completion, and it's going to boost domestic fuel production. That is what the government has come out to say, that the refinery is going to help in making sure that indigenous production, local production as regards that commodity fuel is going to be that refinery that is almost completed is going to boost local production. And that is what is coming in from the government. It's a positive news in the right direction, if you ask me. The Warri Refinery and Petrochemical Company, has upgraded its level based on what they've been doing since the Q1 of 2023. But now the projection is that Q1 of 2024, meaning at best March 2024, it's going to be completed, and it's going to boost local production. This long-awaiting milestone, it marks what? It marks a significant step towards reducing Nigeria's reliance on imported crude. Because right now, we're going to reduce the way we rely on imported crude and make sure that we look home to what we are producing. And if we can get this right as regards the oil industry, trust me, it's going to have a ripple effect on almost all industries across the Nigerian state, because we are prevalently an oil economy. And as an oil economy, if we can fix and make sure that we produce what we consume as a people, and we consume what we produce, especially in the downstream sector, then it's going to be home run as regards making sure that the prices across different industry is adjusted. Definitely it's going to have a ripple effect in the transport industry, and it's also going to have a ripple effect across all industry. The 125,000 barrel per day refinery, 125,000 barrel per day. Imagine adding that to what the Dangote refinery is going to be doing, and adding that, and we imagine that we fix the Kaduna refinery, and we fix other refineries, the Port Harcourt refinery. What is going to be, what do you think is going to happen to the downstream sector? It's definitely going to be rejuvenated, and we're going to have an amazing home run as regards that downstream, as regards the oil sector. It's an amazing project, if you ask me. This promises not only the fuel prices stability, but also going to be a potential growth, an economic growth across different value chain, across different sectors. You know, I've been talking about this, that if we fix the oil sector and we fix a couple of other sectors, then the Nigerian economy is going to go back to its booming days, good old days, where we had boom, where we were experiencing boom. Moving on to what we have from the African continent. What is really happening in the African continent? Now, Guinea has approved an iron ore project based on what we call JV. So Guinea has approved JV with Chinese partners for world's largest iron ore project. And when I say JV, is joint venture. And this joint venture, what it means is that I own the land and you are going to run this project. And if I own the land and you're going to run this project, then we're going to split the profit and we're going to have profit sharing. It's a welcome development because we already have the human resources. We have the land. We own the land where it's going to be drilled from, where the iron ore is going to be drilled. And if I own the land and you come build your infrastructure on that land, then it's best for us to be able to have what we call joint venture. It happens, it's very much prevalent in the real estate industry. And this is what they do. I own the land and you erect your structure on it. And whatever output, whatever is going to be the output of that particular asset will have a profit sharing. That is what Guinea has also done as regards their major resources, which is iron ore. It's the largest in the world coming from Guinea. But if I'm going to take a cue as to what is happening in Guinea, if what is really happening in the Ajaokuta project, these are the conversations we should be having. The Ajaokuta project is a project that alone can be responsible for a chunk of the Nigerian budget. And so we should find a way to make sure we resuscitate this project and we bring it back to life. These are the conversations we should be having. Because if Guinea can do this, we don't necessarily have to expend all our resources in revamping that project, the Ajaokuta project. We can just go into a joint venture where we have a company that will be responsible for fixing all the lapses that we have from the Ajaokuta. And then once that is done, the profit sharing, the federal government is going to smile to the bank, and the company responsible for the project is also going to smile to the bank. It's a win-win partnership agreement. It's a win-win agreement. This is the welcome development. This is why we always say it is best for us to rub shoulders, for us to partner, use your strength to absorb my weaknesses, and I use my strength to absorb your weaknesses, and we both enter into the market with a full force. That is what is happening in the, that is what should be happening as regards public partner, PPP, which is public-private partnership. And that is, the body responsible for that is actually PPE, Bureau of Public Enterprise. So they are the one responsible for such business model. And if we can do this for some federal asset and bring them back to life, I think it's going to be a welcome development as regards we resuscitating some of the dead assets that we have in the length and breadth of Nigeria. Moving on to what is happening in the downstream sector, Total Energies, also from the heart of Africa. Total Energies has expanded its oil stake to Namibia. Total Energies has expanded its holding in Namibian oil discovery. So Namibia, which is a country in the African continent, has discovered oil. And based on this discovery, Total Energies has moved on to Namibia. And I always state with this analogy, if you have a cube of sugar on this table, I really don't need to make a billboard to the ants telling them that I have sugar on this table. In one way or the other, they're going to find, you will find them around the ants I have on this table. That is what happens when you have an asset. Investors will definitely find a way to come play, in your field of investment. That is what happens in the investment landscape. If you have an asset, or you have an investment, or investors know that you have an asset, then in just no distant time, you're going to see them flocking around that asset. That's why I say that we need to make sure Nigeria is an enabling environment. Once we can fix that and make sure Nigeria is an enabling environment, then the rest is going to be history. Because if Total Energies can find their way to Namibia because of oil discovery, imagine what is going to happen with all our humongous natural resources that we have in this part of the world. Once we have an enabling environment, we have business-friendly policies, and we have demand power. Demand power is even a topic for another day, because we have demand power. 200 million Nigerians. A lot of Nigerians are very hardworking. For you to prove what I'm talking about, for you to validate this statement, go to the global stage. Take a look at trailblazers across different industries. In one way or the other, you're going to find a Nigerian. Is it politics? Is it tech? Is it oil? Is it medicine? You're definitely going to find Nigerians. We are trailblazers. We're ready to set the pace across different industry. And as we're ready to set the pace, if we have an enabling environment and we have a business-friendly policy, definitely businesses are going to thrive. And we can see that across different clients. Moving on, but before we move on to the next story, which is coming from the African Development Bank. What is the African Development Bank disbursing to the Nigerian state? These and many more are the conversations we're going to have when we come back on this short break. This is the Business Hour. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, and this is the Business Hour on VOP TV. The African Development Bank has disbursed $540 million. I didn't say naira. Actually, I said dollars. And this is going to the agri sector. It's an agro-industrial fund. And what this fund is earmarked for is to kick off the $540 million agro-industrial fund disbursement. What this fund is meant for is to initiate the first phase of the disbursement. And this first phase is $540 million. And it aims to develop special agro-industrial processing zones. So we have what we call SAPs. And this SAPs means Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zones. And it's nationwide across the length and breadth of Nigeria. The first phase is going to benefit states like Oyo State. They're going to get access to these funds. So if you're in Oyo State, then I think you need to find out what is happening, what is going to be happening in your ministry, which is the Ministry of Agriculture. Go there and find out how you can access these funds that have been disbursed by the African Development Bank. Also, Kaduna State is also going to be part of the beneficiaries. Cross River State is also going to be part of the beneficiaries. And all this is going to make sure that we align with government's food security commitment. And that is one of the major reasons why this fund is coming into the agri sector. Food is an essential commodity. And as an essential commodity, all Nigerians, it's your basic right for you to be able to have access to food, shelter, and clothing. And food is very, very important. And that is why we're having the sum of $540 million coming in as the first tranche of the disbursement. The special SAPZ, which I would love to call the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zones, nationwide across the length and breadth of Nigeria, from Oyo State, Kaduna State, and Cross River State. So these three different states are going to be the first set of states that will be getting access to this fund. The agri sector is one that is going to be getting the funds as well. But their major focus aims to transform the rural landscape into thriving economic zones, promoting sustainability across the agro-allied industry. So sustainability, how sustainable can we preserve a lot of this agro-allied product? Well, what are the hitches around the agro value chain, the agri value chain? What are the logistics? What are the hinges that we have across the agro value chain? So if we can fix all of this, then it's definitely going to be a welcome development for the agri sector. Moving on to what we are experiencing as regards ban. So the federal government has enforced ban on alcoholic drinks in small sachets. So you know what I'm talking about. So you want to take 2 shots and you go to the closest store, and the next thing you're asking is for an alcoholic drink in sachets. The agberos are definitely going to know what I'm talking about. The guys who, in one way or the other, want to always feel high, they know what I'm talking about. So the government has enforced the ban on alcoholic drinks in small sachets. So this time around, it's also been spearheaded by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC. They've come out to officially enforce the ban on alcoholic drinks. And any drink that is less than 200 ml. All of the 200 ml that you find in sachets, the government has placed a ban and it's been enforced. And it's been a long time coming because it's not just now that the government has been talking about this. They've been giving a lot of this industry warnings. They've told them, they've met at the middle as regards making sure that the industries and the companies responsible for producing alcoholic beverages in sachets are forewarned. And it's been a long time coming, since 2018. And the ban was initially set for 2018, but it lapsed until January 31st of January 2024. And the enforcement started from the 1st of February 2024, which is some 3 days back, or no, some 6 days back. So if you're listening to me and you're watching the Business Hour on VOP TV, then understand that the government has placed a ban on alcoholic beverages in sachets. If you want to buy alcoholic beverages, then be ready to buy in bottles, because it's not eco-friendly based on what the government has said. And NAFDAC has clarified that this resulted from collaborative effort with the gradual reduction and strategy leading to the full ban, meaning from 2018 down to the 1st of February 2024, they've been having a series of conversations with industry stakeholders and companies responsible for the production of this. I wish that we also had this when the government placed a ban on styrophones and single-use plastic. We have to meet in the middle, not just placing a ban all of a sudden, because companies would have gotten inventory of that particular product. And if you catch them off guard, definitely it's going to affect their bottom line. These are the conversations we have on the Business Hour. What is really happening to CBN? We've been getting a lot of stories coming from CBN, but this time around, Mr. Yemi Kadaso has come out to say that the CBN headquarters is overpopulated. He's confirmed that the CBN headquarters is overpopulated. The governor of CBN, Olayemi Kadaso, has addressed the controversy surrounding the relocation of CBN department and its personnel. He is saying that this is a welcome development because he understands he's at the ahem of affairs as to the operations in CBN. And as someone who is at the ahem of affairs as regards the operation in CBN, he's responsible for knowing what is best for his unit, what is best for CBN. And he's come out to say that the present headquarters is overpopulated. That's why they had to move some departments to Lagos State. These are the conversations we have on the Business Hour. When we come back on the short break, remember, this same time yesterday, I was having a conversation with an industry expert from the agri sector. And I asked him, what is really happening to the price of egg? Why can we be buying a crate of egg for 3,500 naira? And remember what he said. He said the value chain, it's not the fault of the entrepreneurs running poultry farms. It's really logistics. It's really boils down to the price at which they get maize. So this next story is going to take a grocery view as to what is really happening in that sector. When we come back from the short break, we're going to take a look at this, what is happening, what poultry farmers are saying based on their 2023 report. So we're going to take a look at this when we come back on the short break. This is the Business Hour. Welcome back, and this is the Business Hour on VOP TV. Poultry farmers, they've come out to report their 2023 report that they made 3 trillion naira loss. So imagine running a business, and that entire industry, just the units in that industry, had 3 trillion naira loss. And so you should understand that based on this report, it's not the fault of the poultry farmers that the price of egg has skyrocketed. It boils down to the price of feeds, the value chain responsible for you getting just one egg or just one crate of egg. 2023 report, 3 trillion naira loss in 2023 alone. And the poultry farmers in Nigeria have suffered this. A staggering 3 trillion naira loss in investment throughout 2023. What is going to happen? What is the fate of the poultry units of the agri sector in 2024? The chairman of the Lagos State PAN, which is the Poultry Association of Nigeria, Lagos State chapter, Mr. Mojid Iola, he's come out, he's revealed that significant setback with 50% of farms closing down nationwide. Remember the first week of the Business Hour, we had 3 seconds silence for 7 startups that were lost in 2024, in 2023. Now, based on this report, we lost 50% of farm owners. 50% of them went out of business because they couldn't cope. So, when you have supply disrupted by people going out of business, and you also have supply disrupted by the value chain, by logistics, supply disrupted by insecurity, bedeviling one of Mantu, and Mantu is literally responsible for 70% of the maize we consume in this country. And remember that when I mention maize, I'm not just talking about the corn you always cross the gutters to go get. I'm talking about maize is responsible for the feeds of these livestock. And if maize is responsible for the feeds, and we have Mantu in the heart of Plateau State, which is responsible for 70% of the maize we consume in this country, definitely it's going to affect, it's going to have a ripple effect on the value chain. And that is why we're having you buying a crate of egg for 3,500. At best, if you're getting it, it's 3,200 naira. And if we don't fix this, a lot of the poultry farmers are still going to be going out of business. Economic challenges like high cost in feed, and also we also have avian influenza. So we've got an influenza, which is a disease that we are going to blame for also all these things, all of all these crises bedeviling the agri sector, just a unit, which is the poultry unit of the agri sector. He has come out, the national chairman, the state chairman, I beg your pardon, Lagos State chairman of the Poultry Association of Nigeria, Mr. Mojid Iola, has come out to say that all these issues is what is bedeviling his industry. And if care is not taken, we're going to be having much more poultry farmers going out of business because they're not going to be able to go into the kitchen and face the heat. Moving on to what we have from the aviation sector. What is really happening in the aviation sector? NCAA has threatened sanction on airlines for persistent flight delays. So it's one too many. We have lots of airlines coming out with bedeviled with a lot of issues as regards flight delays. And now the NCAA, which is a body responsible for checkmating the operations across different airlines and the entire aviation industry, they've come out to say that they're going to be sanctioning airlines that are persistent with flight delays. So if you're listening to me, if you miss your flight, or in one way or the other, your flight is delayed by an hour or 2 hours or even 30 minutes, then find a way to file a report to NCAA, and they're definitely going to sanction that airline. The acting director general, which is Mr. Chris Najomo, he's come out and he's emphasized that passengers' welfare and that the airline should adhere to the responsibility of their passengers and also make sure they look after the welfare of passengers and adhere to the regulations by the body. And that body has come out to say that if care is not taken, they're going to be sanctioning a lot of these airlines for flight delays. What is the next story we have coming in from Lagos State? Lagos State has made sure that the Red Line Rail is going to be flagged off in February. They've said it. That's going to be flagged off in February by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Lagos State Governor has come out to say he said this when he went to China to make sure that he concludes the entire acquisition and purchasing plan that has to do with the Lagos Red Line Rail. Is this going to bring about the entire hiccups that we're experiencing in the transport sector in Lagos State? If you ask me, this is a welcome development. We've got the Blue Line Rail, and now we're having the second phase, which is the Red Line Rail. And he said that it is going to be commissioned by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and which it's a welcome development, if you ask me. Discussion held in China regarding rolling stock procurement for both Red Line and Blue Line. The testing has already been done, and the event is going to happen in the last week of February, and it's going to be commissioned by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Who said this is the governor of Lagos State, the person of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. He's come out to say that they are going to flag off the commissioning of the Red Line rail, the Red Rail Line in Lagos State. Moving on to what is happening in the tech world. You know, we don't end the business hour without what is really happening in the tech world. When we come back on the short break, we're going to take a look at what is really happening in the tech world. What is happening in the country, in one of the African countries. They've not had internet for like 2 days. And it's a deliberate effort to make sure that they are offline deliberately because of a particular protest happening in that country. When we come back on the short break, we're going to take a look at what is happening in the country, and you're going to find out which country is it that is bedeviled with lack of internet because of protest.
When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Welcome back, and this is the Business Hour on VOP TV. We're going into the tech segment. Tech is an enabler. It's a tool. You can use it negatively or positively. But this time around, the Senegalese government has decided to use it negatively because Senegal has blocked internet access for its citizens because of protests that took place after the election. So the government has cut off internet access nationwide following protests over postponed election. And the minister cites hateful messages and is saying that they did that because it's a threat to public order. And but critics has come out to say that this is also a threat to free speech. What is really happening to the African state? Senegal. What is really happening? Tech can be an enabler, but it's just a tool. You can use it positively and as well use it negatively. It's just like what is happening with the emerging technology that we're having with artificial intelligence. Now, stakeholders across the globe are looking for ways that it can highly be regulated, because as good as artificial intelligence can be, it can also be used for negative intent. The advent of fake news, the advent of copyright, plagiarism. Tech is an enabler. It's just a tool. How you use it is what matters most. And this time around, the Senegalese government has come to make us understand that they've decided to use tech, which is the internet, in a negative way. So switching off the entire nation, switching off the internet for the entire nation. Is this a good one? Is this a home run for the African continent? These are the conversations we have on the Business Hour. Moving on to what is really happening. What is really happening in the market? Because, you know, we can't end the Business Hour without having a conversation with you as to what is happening in the market. This and many more are the conversations we're going to have when we come back on this short break. Because we're going to be looking at why the government, CBN, is saying that foreign investors are coming back to Nigeria. We're going to be taking a look at this chart. We're going to be going straight to my screen. Is it true that foreign investors are coming back to Nigeria? Based on the facts and figures that I have, you're going to be seeing the chart right from January in 2023 up until now. What is the chart? How many percent are foreign investors still coming into the shores of Nigeria? This and many more are the conversations we're going to have when we come back on the short break. Don't go anywhere, because this is the Business Hour.
When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Welcome back. This is the Business Hour on VOP TV. Moving on to, let's really talk. Let's have a conversation. The CBN governor said that foreign direct investment is increasing, but we have the chart Facts and the numbers don't lie. That is why I love numbers, and that is why I love my screen, because you're going to see the numbers for yourself. As of June 2023, what really happened as regards foreign portfolio investment? As of June 2023, it was sitting at 22.7%. We can see it on my screen. And as of July, it dropped by nothing less than 50%. Nothing less than 50%. 9.5% was what the foreign investment portfolio was saying as of July. Moving on to August, it increased a bit, 13.8%. And then it reduced as of September, just a little margin by 0.1, which is 13.7%. And then 0.1 again, 13.6%. But something happened in November. We experienced a massive move. Foreign investors came into the shores of Nigeria, and they saw Nigeria as safe haven for investment. That is why we have it at 34.8%, sitting comfortably at that level. But a policy was passed by CBN, and immediately that policy was passed, sugar left the table. What happened? As sugar left the table, investors found their way to other climes. We lost our role to China. We lost our investment portfolio scale to the likes of Kenya. We lost it to the likes of South Africa and Egypt. Look at where we were as at December 2023, 17.5%. That of January is going to come out by the end of this quarter. And we're going to put that statement to test. The statement Mr. Yemi Karaso made by saying that foreign direct investment has increased in Nigeria. Is this what is happening on the chart? We can see that it dropped drastically from November to December. These are the conversations we have on the business hour. We show you what is really happening on the chart live for you to see. Moving on to what is happening in the market. When we come back on this short break, you're going to see what is really happening on the market. The price of Bitcoin, the price of Ethereum, and the price of Solana. This and many more is what you're going to see on our chart, the favorite part of the show. Let's move on.
When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news
Welcome back. This is the business hour. Moving on to the market segment. What is really happening to the market? We need to see what is really happening to the price of BTC. Bitcoin is sitting at the 42,929 level. And we can see that in the last 24 hours, we've had 0.01% gain. We can see that it's live. So it's happening live. And the price of Ethereum, what is the market capitalization of Ethereum? Market capitalization meaning the price, the unit price multiplied by the number of that asset in circulation. Number of Ethereum in supply, the total supply of Ethereum. $279 billion. But what is the single unit price of Ethereum? We can see it. It is 2,329 as we speak. In the last 24 hours, we've had 0.67 gains, 0.67% gains. Let's look at what is happening to BNB, which is Binance. Binance is sitting at this $302. That's the price of Binance. And in the last 24 hours, we've had 0.28% loss in the last 24 hours. Let's go to Solana. What is really happening to Solana? You can see it. The price of Solana, it's sitting at the $95 level. And in the last 24 hours, we've had 1.11% loss in the last 24 hours. You know what I always tell you? It's an extremely volatile market. And then you need to be careful before investing in such assets. If not, you're just going to fall victim to losses in the market. Seek financial advice. And whatever you hear on the business hour is not a financial advice. That is a caveat because this is just for information. And when we come back, we're going to find out what is really happening to the price of the Naira and the price of the dollar against the British pounds and the Canadian dollar. This and many more are the conversations we're going to have when we go on this short break. Don't go anywhere. This is the market segment of the Business Hour. Welcome back, and this is the Business Hour on VOP TV. We're moving on to the markets. This is still the market segment, but we're looking at what is really happening to the currencies. The currencies is very, very important, especially the recent forex crisis that we've been experiencing. So let's take a look at what is really happening in the market, the currency market. As of Tuesday, you can see 9 a.m. this morning, the price of $1 US is equivalent to 1,464 naira. 1,464 naira. And the price of one British pound is equivalent to 1,826 naira. What is the price of €1 to the naira? 1,562 naira. You can see it on my screen. And then for those who are looking at moving to Canada, it's a cold region. But then, despite the fact that it's a cold region, you're still going to need to get, for you to get $1 Canadian, you're going to need 1,040 naira as at today. That is what the market is telling us. I'm not the one telling you. It's really the market. You determine the price of the dollar. And the way you determine that is by consuming what you produce and produce what you consume. If you don't do that, definitely the price of the naira is still going to keep on skyrocketing. This is the end of the Business Hour. My name is Frank Fagbo, and you can catch me across all social media platforms at Fagbo Frank. Let's continue the conversation on your money, your business, and the economy. Don't go anywhere because VOP has got you covered. I'll see you same time, same station tomorrow.